Hello everyone. Today I wanted to talk about how to see past the illusion of the self and how exactly I can connect to my spirit without being, let's say, attached to my constructed self. Everything that is related to me in an earthly manner, everything that is related to my passions, to my human activity, it's something constructed. Something constructed means that at any given moment it can be taken away from me. It means that in any way that can be possible. I could lose my job, I could lose a property, I could lose an ability, I could lose someone from my life. So this means that that everything that can be lost and taken away from me, it's constructed. It's something artificially created. Although it has a lot of meaning to me, it is not real. And what is real? It is my spirit. That is not constructed. That it's the innate force of life. That is everything related actually to whatever I get to manifest. During this lifetime, I get to manifest many aspects of my spirit. How do I get to manifest it? Through my interactions with others. How do I get to understand the manifestations of my spirit? Through suffering, through loss, through emotional recovery. Everything that I can perceive as being real in my life, namely my car, my apartment, my relationship, my friends, and so on. Everything is constructed by myself, by others. It is something that begins at one point and ends in another point. Even the way I look. I won't have this color of hair my whole life. When I will get old, the color of my hair will change inevitably. I won't have the same aspect of my skin. The aspect of my skin will change. And this tells me what? That everything that can be changed, it is constructed. It is not something that precedes my existence. But what precedes my existence is my spirit. And yes, during this lifetime, I get to live through different manifestations, which I call an externalization of my spirit. I get to live in many aspects of it, but all these aspects are not what is real. They are as real as I perceive them, but once I stop perceiving them, they lose their power upon me. And this is natural, this is normal. But the only problem I could have is to get attached to the illusion. Is to believe that I live in this illusion, that I am my car, that I am my relationship, that I am my social identity, that I am my ego. And in order to be anchored into this reality, into what I call reality, I get to construct in my mind and in my life a certain identity. I get to say that I am in this way. I like these things. I would rather do this than that. All these things are constructed. They have a certain connection to my spirit, but they are not my spirit. I am not my expectations. I am not my conditioning. I am not my fear. But all these things depend on the way I perceive them. And if I identify myself with these things as being real, then I will have no choice rather than to manifest these things into my life. And this will bring me a lot of suffering. But that suffering, if I am aware of it and I know what to do with it, it's good. It's liberating. Because I get to understand through that suffering that what awaits me at the end of it, it's total freedom. And total freedom gets to be experimented outside the mind. Because the mind, it's an useful tool that helps me rationalize things, that helps me make decisions. And as useful as a tool is, the tool is not its creator. And whatever I get to do during this lifetime with my mind, it depends on my spirit. And it depends on the way in which my spirit is connected to this reality. Why everyone lives the same emotion in a different way? Because everyone chooses what perceives as being real for himself or for herself. And when I choose and I select something out of an infinite stream of possibilities, I create a real chance for that something to become not only a possibility in my life, but a certain manifestation. And then I get to live with that manifestation, whether I like it or not. To see past the illusion of the self, it's an incredibly difficult exercise. I have to do it every day of my life. And sometimes I get so caught up in my life and in thinking that what I see, it's real, that I collapse. I collapse, and paradoxically, it's my mind, which makes me think that I cannot do anything about it. So working through the illusion of the self means to really, really accept all emotions as being valid and stop trying to pretend to be anything. You cannot be something or nothing because you already are. And the eternal nature of the spirit is the possibility, it's the only possibility of achieving anything during this life. Basically, you cannot achieve, you can only become. But we get this false idea that we can achieve things during this lifetime because you must believe that the illusion is real. You must believe in this illusion in order to live. You must believe that you need that car, that you need that home, because otherwise you wouldn't have ideals. Otherwise you wouldn't move forward through your life. So there is nothing wrong with feeding the illusion of the self. But when the illusion of the self becomes the only thing I'm feeding, then I have a problem. Then things start to complicate because I am only living in something that has an end date. And this self that I have constructed in my mind about myself will eventually disappear. And what will only be left is my spirit that transcends time, conditioning, mind, history, and so on. So this awareness of who I am, who I truly am, it's something that happens gradually in one's life, or on the contrary, it can happen in a day. It is a very nice quote that says, there are two important days in your life, the one when you are born and the one when you find out why you were born. And this is true in the sense that without the complete awareness of who you are, you cannot carry yourself during this lifetime. And yes, I have to live as a spirit this lifetime through a series of conditions. I cannot escape them. I am conditioned by my social environment. I am conditioned by the country where I was born into. I am conditioned about my privileges or the lack of my privileges. I can be an incredibly smart person, where if I am born in a very poor family, then I will have to overcome so much more strife than if I would have been born in a rich family. So I cannot escape conditioning, and I should not escape conditioning, but it depends on the awareness of who I am. If I get to be aware of myself in all aspects of my life, then I can bring improvement in all aspects of my life, because I am not living the illusion of the constructed self anymore. Living in your spirit, it's a very daunting task, and it gets to be very difficult at times, because the illusion is much more comfortable. The constructed self, the image that I have about myself, the image that I think others have about me, are strong prejudices. I have a prejudice when I think that I can be in a certain way and not in another way. I have a prejudice when I think that my life can be in this way or in that way. Things which do not exist when I talk about my spirit, where it's total, absolute freedom of any type of conditioning and of any type of limit. And this ability of overcoming the constructed self, it's the ability of being free at all times, in all conditions. And it's basically the purpose of my life. And of course, I get to use my constructed self in order to free myself from this constructed self. I get to use the illusion to free myself from it. But there are so many times, and there are so many stages in this process of becoming, and none of these stages is unimportant. Everything that I do during this lifetime matters. Everything is seen by my spirit, and it's recorded there. I can find it anytime. And the way in which a spirit evolves and grows, it's something beautiful, powerful, and it's something that you get to experience only when you become aware of yourself. And this awareness is not mandatory. There are many people who are not aware of themselves because they just don't try it, they just don't want it, and that's also fine. There is no shame in not being aware of yourself. And every spirit begins this process of awareness at a specific moment when it's useful for it. But seeing past illusion requires understanding the deep level that I get to construct an identity during this lifetime. And I can live through the illusion, I can live with a constructed self, but it's important for me to know that I am not this constructed self. I can like some parts of this constructed self. For example, I am a female, I'm almost 30 years old, I have certain things that I like, that I enjoy doing, and I like to have my hair this way and to do my makeup this way. And this is a part of my constructed self. I would rather look this way than other way. But at the same time, I understand that I am not only this constructed self. Yes, this is a very small part of who I get to experiment being in terms of identity, but it is not my identity. And this is a very good example of how we can see past the constructed self. And when you get to live truthfully with your spirit, when you get to live yourself in every aspect of your being, then you get to achieve a certain level of freedom that makes you understand how you are not the constructed self. And we can liberate ourselves from this constructed self at any time when we are aware of it. And the constructed self is feeding itself with ego, with expectations, and with me trying to seem something that I am not. It is incredibly tempting to build yourself a persona during this lifetime and to be something that your mind tells you should be. But eventually, every experience of your life will liberate you from any expectation that you have. And where you get past, where you get to overcome this willingness, this desire to be your mind, then you get to experiment your spirit. And that is the only place where you can begin change. That is the only place where change begins. Because change ends at some point in my mind. But actually, the everlasting nature of my spirit is change. And when I get to accept this, and when I get to live this, I can not only see past the illusion, but I can see myself as a free spirit, and I can give myself the tools to empower my spirit to continue this process of becoming without restricting it in accordance to what my mind tells me that I should do.